Hello everyone, to what may be another one-off, similar in vein to one of my very first blogs and videos on the channel of mine. If you recall back all the way to about late February or early March on my blogs, I made a lengthy piece where I went through every category and gave my thoughts on what I feel will be the winners for every award of the Oscars for this year. Surprisingly, I did get quite a lot of it accurate, and some that were close and some I was well off, but it was all in fun in the guessing game. Well, then I thought, why not do it again? But this time in a video form. For every award show, I'll probably try and do an interest or my initial one, as my initial second one for this was actually going to be the Emmys, but because I was delayed to January, I thought this will be the perfect time to start the videos. So today I'm going to present my initial thoughts on what I think will be the winners for each category at the upcoming Game Awards, which is dropping, I believe, as time recording this, on Thursday the 7th of December, as hosted every year by the host of the most, of Jeff Keighley. Now, I'm only going to delve into the categories to focus on the games, and the only one I will not go too in-depth much on or at all is the esports one, as I don't really delve too much into that anyway, and I don't really know. There's only one I can take out of, which is Creator of the Year, but that's what I'll get to in a minute. I also won't be delving into too much of the problems of issues of the award show, as they really don't have much of an issue that I am aware of besides how it all began, but you can find other people discussing that on their other great videos, of course. So I'll not be thanking any awards or honoring them to any renowned rabbis of Bill Clinton.
I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
I will, however, make a small piece near the end as well with some of the announcements of what I could expect soon in terms of games, adaptations, or bonus instead. And looking at my alpha, this doesn't feel right to be adjusting it, so I'm going to give a little bit of a pizzazz. Much better. As I will delve you through all my predictions and what I feel are the winners for this year's Game Awards. So as I mentioned, in the case that I do not know too much on the whole esports, I want to at least do a short quick fire discussion on one of them, and as with Creator of the Year, as at least in some form I can get at least some prediction for that. So for the Creator of the Year, we have the nominations of Iron Mouse, People Make Games, Quackity, Spreen, and Sphere PK. Now all these have various forms, and ones I feel may have a bit of concern is with Quackity as being a part of the Dream Minecraft server. And given the whole ordeal right now with Dream and one of the voice actors from Amazing World of Gumball, I don't know if it may affect. I do not know too much on all of them, but I feel the most logical that People Make Games one is they provide entertainment and video game journalism, write a story to their YouTube and Twitch streams. I'm sure if I knew more, I'd probably give a better explanation, but I'm going to give my prediction choice to People Make Games.
I'm so excited!
So this year we had quite a lot, but next year we have quite a variety of games to look forward to and be excited for, from some of the expected Sony first-person titles to Nintendo eventually unveiling all they have to bring, including their new console. There's 5 games that have stood out over the rest as the most anticipated, though I would say they could have added one other title related to a big nominee this year, or even a new remake. But the nominees for this year are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. So you have the choice of a second part of a much bigger remake, a sequel to an indie darling, a new entry in the Yakuza series, an all-new open-world Star Wars game, and the next entry in a long-running fighting game. Now, the one I feel that may have more of the popular vote over all of them is the Final Fantasy remake, as it was most hotly anticipated the first remake put back a few years ago, and has been the case that many are waiting for the continuation of the game, so it may win it. As for my own thoughts, I feel that to me there's two that appeal to me, and that's either the new Star Wars game that's like an open world GTA style Star Wars, playing as a smuggler sounds very enticing to me, and the footage just out back in June looked incredible. And the other I would say is Hades, as the first one was so good, and I think they'll knock it out of the park with this sequel. Now, I felt that they should have added at least the new Wolverine game from Insomniac, as many loved Spider-Man 2 and made more sense than anticipated game, as well as another in the remake to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Although I don't know how much of that would count for a nomination. Then again, Final Fantasy was a remake, and Resident Evil is also nominated this year, so it's my little bit to the section. But the most likely winner of this is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and my own choice, I'm going to say either between Hades 2 or Star Wars Outlaws. Those are my own choices, but you get the gist of that. Now, of course, one of the things that has been a major focus from recent memory has been the adaptations of video games into movies and TV shows, and this year we got quite the repertoire of choice to choose from, but the only one seems to be missing out on was a certain gang from a pizzeria. Also, you can hear my thoughts on all and me explaining the whole history of it down the link below in the description, as you can see with the thumbnail here. But let's go into nominees of what this year's game adaptation nominees are, which include Castlevania Nocturne from Netflix, The Last of Us from HBO, Gran Turismo from Sony, the Super Mario Bros. Movie from Universal and Illumination, and Twisted Metal from Peacock. Now all of these have their positives, but it has to be said that one is a no-brainer, as this one will surely be the big winner, is The Last of Us, as it was such a faithful and fantastic show, and I'm going to give it its own video review of the series sometime soon. I want to delve into that third episode. That third episode made me cry so much this year. If this one was not in the options, my runner-up had to go to the Mario movie, as it was such a fun time in the movies, and you can also check out my thoughts of it down in the reviews below. But yes, adaptation choice is definitely going to be The Last of Us. Runner-up, the Mario movie. Now, if many games are open to be much more accessible to everyone, and there is many that have the games that go out of their way to provide that sense of being helpful, for some they may find it difficult to play. And these games that have been nominated help to shape their easier accessibility for all. So these games are Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Now, many of them have some sense of progressive accessible features for everyone, from audio, visual, and other forms to help everyone be able to access games themselves. Now, one that has been a major advantage of accessibility has to have been from Street Fighter 6 for helping bring people into the fighting game genre, with helping those with commands who may have difficulty with hand-eye coordination, with poor eyesight, and I think it can help with bringing a level of equal competition and more positive approach for the future for many games. So for this category, I'm choosing Street Fighter 6.
Hey buddy, you wanna take this outside? Sure!
Now, is a case that multiplayer can be a varying concept for some people, as it can appeal with different types and styles for people for wanting to go on an adventure or do battle as a team or simply duke it out and fight against one another. There is always something for everyone to choose from, and the nominees are definitely something to choose from themselves, with them being Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, all of these have quite their variety, and in the case from all, some I feel the most entertaining to play or experience with friends, I think that the two that stand out most is the new Baldur's Gate and Mario Wonder, for their own unique way. While close personally to me, I would say the one that's going to edge it over the top would just be Baldur's Gate, as being a massive D&D quest, it only makes sense to go big or go home. So multiplayer choice, I'm going to go with Baldur's Gate 3, and my runner-up is either between that or Mario Wonder. And now for the section of something that I would not really delve too much in the genre of stuff, with the section of sports and racing. Well, many more with the sports size. Racing I would delve in more into. Now, the former nominees for this section are as follows. We've got F1 23, EA Sports FC 24, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and The Crew Motorfest. Now, I know one of the biggest games that gets released every year that always ends up in the top gaming chart for most of the end of the year is FC 24. However, I feel if it gets affected as it's similar every year with minimal change, it will not be the biggest game worldwide. Most likely it's just UK that gets the biggest top 10 releases for that. Now personally, I would say the one that will probably get the bigger win has to go with the newest entry in the Forza series, as it's the newest, the sleekest, it plays the best, it's the most realistic car sim besides Gran Turismo, and I think even the racing games have a more wider appeal, and I think this one will be the strongest contender, with the other racers a strong follow. So my choice for this one, it has to go to 2023's Forza Motorsport.
I'm doing my part.
Now, some games may have a simple objective of go in, F shit up, and get out, and can either act like it's just straight in guns blazing and job done, but in this situation, these nominees will have you plan it out in figuring out the best way to go about it, or put you in the simulation of it all playing out and experience it for your own perspective more. So the nominees for the Sim Strategy section is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skyline 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. Now, for some of these games, they may not be the most well-known, and with two of them being based on war, I feel they may have a bit of a question to win with what's going on in two countries to the east. Now, personally, I'm thinking that a game that hasn't had a new game in the series since the mid-2010s, but a numbered one in the series for a decade, and from its mass appeal, I think being a small spaceman finding your missing crew of your tiny flora aliens dog exploring a world like our own on a major scale may just be the most appeal for a lot of people. So the choice for this category is going to Pikmin 4. Now, it is sometimes known a lot more that gaming is for a more mature audience, a lot more serious and intense in a lot of ways, but it's often forgotten that there is always a category for those looking for a little bit of fun with your family and friends. And these game nominees help to bring that fun for all ages. So the games nominated for this category include Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, many of them have their appeal from a fun fighting game, going fast, exploring alien worlds and odd islands with classic characters, but one I feel that has been the standout overall has to be from the famous plumber himself in his new wondrous adventure, and bringing new life to the world of the 2D side-scroll that has been seeing a bit of a stale mark since 2012. It is quite a tough competition, but I think Mario just about whops and wahoos his way from the competition as a contender winner. So my choice for this one is Mario Wonder, and in my follow-up I would probably give to Sonic or Pikmin. That's just my choice.
Round 1. Fight!
But now sometimes when life gets crazy and you have some rage you want to get out of your system, then one of the best ways to get it out without causing damage or injury to anyone is always with a good fighting game. And some of their choices this year seem to hit the mark, with providing some great competition in the ring, the tournament, or whatever you want to find yourself ducking it out in, and whoever it is as well too. So nominees for this one include God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Now all of them do sound like some very interesting fighting games to play and experience in some way, shape, or form. And to put it down to opinion for more of my predictions, I say the two are the ones that have the age-old battle since their inception in the 90s, and as with Street Fighter 6 or Mortal Kombat 1. Now going in a case of more appeal and popularity for repetition, I think Street Fighter might just about take it, as I feel Mortal Kombat probably could have got it, but then they had a rough launch with the Switch and all other stuff, so I feel maybe it's the case that, Street Fighter just might about take it. But I feel that's definitely a runner-up. So the choice for fighting is going to go to Street Fighter, and the follow-up is going to be Mortal Kombat 1.
Are you ready to RPG? Oh, motherfucker, I was born ready!
Now, many of the games in this category, I do see a lot of having a mix of variety in how they tackle the approach of a role-playing game or RPG. Many have different approaches, like some would be based on a property, some have the elements of a turn-based, some may have the sense of a simulation, and you live out a life of some aspect you want to experience, and many other forms. And these five will have something to give it to provide a unique RPG experience. And these games are Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Now all have their different approach of feeling different or inspired by something with a unique twist. Like mentioned, Baldur's Gate is a D&D campaign, Starfield is an immersive RPG sim letting you explore the vast galaxies, Lies of P is a Bloodborne type game mixed with the classic Italian folklore of the wooden boy who told lies, Final Fantasy being a continuing tale of the epic saga that has appealed to the masses for decades, and many more. Now personally, I can see all of these as a winner, and with my gut saying that Baldur's Gate will take this win for most major popularity, I can see that my own choice, and maybe from Final Fantasy or Lies of P being the runner-ups, or the challenge that, but being said, when it comes to the meaning of RPG, it has to go to D&D. So the choice for this one is Baldur's Gate, and then the runner-ups is going to be Lies of P and Final Fantasy 16. Now some of these games also come in the form of being provided many of us with a sense of adventure, and if you can offer a variety of choice from vast planets, superheroes, exploring the world of your own accord, or surviving a crazy world, these nominees all provide a unique form of adventure. These games include Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now many of these games all have a different look and feel to them, and personally I would give it to each and every one of them as an award for this category because they are excellent action adventure games. But if there is one I have to be so in depth of throughout the others for the moment, the first two I'll give a bit more time to, but so far I've given a fair bit of focus on and it's been excellent. I have to give that sense of freedom to Tears of the Kingdom. As a follow-up to the launch game of the Switch and being 6 years later and adding all new features, new things to explore, solve, and create from your own accord, from the gathering of materials in the land of Hyrule, and after 6 months I'm still finding so many things to do in the game, still finishing the campaign as it is, I think Hyrule may deserve that award overall, but all the others are definitely a close second. So my action-adventure choice for this year is going to be The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
But sometimes, maybe that sense of adventure seems a little over daunting, and you would much rather get to handling a weapon or shooting something and get to feel a rush that may more than a simple action game. That'll be less exploring to your own accord in vast worlds to let's blow shit up and let the blood fly. Now nominees for this category are as follows: Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Now all the choices in this one have their unique approach to the topic of action, and while I see one of them being a game that was seen for a while as being a game that existed at one point before it disappeared for years before it finally came out this year, I think that the real competition and top choice are going to go to either Hi-Fi Rush or Armored Core 6. Now that's my own choice, that because most of the time it's just straight out action. I mean, the Armored Core 6 is your giant robots that shoot each other. What more is there you need? But it'd be interesting to see if it turns out that it's basically one of the others. But my choices for the action one is going to go to Armored Core 6, Fires Rubicon, or Hi-Fi Rush.
Welcome to the real world.
Now, if you've noticed a lot lately in the last decade, the concept of virtual reality has really taken off to a whole degree, and many publishers and companies have been finding ways to bring you that step closer to being one with the world or game. And some of these games choices here may provide some of the best with the visuals look to it all. So the games in this category are Gran Turismo 7, Vertigo 2, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and The Light Brigade. Now I'll always say straight away, the concept of having the VR experience of the giant vampire mummy milker lady stepping on you in VR is a strong concept and a strong choice. It is made just a mods to the game that has been out for about 2 years now. And while there's another game on this list that technically came out a year ago, but given the game does have support with the VR from the PSVR 2 now, I will still consider that one. But to me, I think it may be given to the launch game with that software, which is of course Call of the Mountain, as it seems like quite the immersive experience to see the dystopian world of the mechanical animals up close and personal, and saying it sounds very cool to me. I also want to give Horizon a chance because I mean, the last 2 times that game's been nominated, it's 1-0, so I feel bad for them. So the VR choice is going to Horizon Call of the Mountain, my runner-up going to Gran Turismo 7.
Do you guys not have phones?
And now another genre that has a divide amongst the community that has seen a rise in engagement in from games on the phone. I mean, take what Apple thinks is the future on their iPhone 15 Pros. And many of these games have their sense of appeal to different audiences and niches. And the choices for a mobile game of the year are as follows: Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Honkai Star Rail, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Now all these games have their fans and their audiences, but if there's one that has the most appeal of making the biggest win of them all, it has to be the game developed by the people behind one of the biggest games in the world of Genshin Impact, and that is of course with Honkai Star Rail. All the others still do have a chance as well, but I feel this may be the one that just takes the top spot by a hair. So the choice for the mobile one is Honkai Star Rail. Now is a point that some games may start off as a pipe dream, that either launch to a major success, or in the case of some a bit of a disarray. But if there's one thing that could stay strong through all of that, it could be the community that comes with it, and helps to find a way to fix its problems or stick with the game and help make it the best there is, from their assistance to developers and other communities. And these games show that appeal, with these games being Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Now all these games have had some sort of development lengths, and 4 out of 5 of them have had some issues back when they launched, but over time, from updates, feedback, expansions, and many more, they've come back and have a massive fan base. And now I know the likes of Baldur's Gate launched to great success, mass appeal, and massive community, but there is a part of me that doesn't want to just give it to them and call it a day, as I feel this to be said that Final Fantasy VII may take it as something that defied all logic and came back as a massive success, with 2077 rounding out the top 3. So my community choice is probably going to be between Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, or Cyberpunk 2077. Now, similar to the likes of the last category, there have been games that over time have seen it be given updates and fixes and new content long past its launch, when many other companies may just make a game and be done with it. But for these nominees, they have been provided with many pieces of new content that it can provide something new and engaging long past its release. So the nominees are Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Now most of these would have the frequent new updates with new content and cosmetics and stuff, though some may overdo it and lose what made it feel interesting. I think the one that really went the extra mile on content that actually fixed the game initially is Cyberpunk, as the most recent expansion of Phantom Liberty provided an all-new narrative, new endings to the original game, and quality of life fixes that had made the game that was hyped, disappointed at launch, and then turned it around to the end. If to give a follow-up for its mass appeal, I would say Genshin, and then knowing many people returned to Fortnite recently as they went back to the appeal to many by bringing back the old map, that probably takes the first. So my ongoing choice is going to 2077, with follow-up being Genshin Impact. Now it could be seen that many start their career in gaming creation with the big boy studios, but a lot more now in the present may try to provide that they can prove that they can join those ranks or fly solo with their own unique tale of a game, and some of these games would be the more introduction to this new world of game development. And the launch title indies nominees are Cocoon from Geometric Interactive, Dredge from Black Salt Games, Pizza Tower from Tour to Pizza, Venba from Visai Games, and Viewfinder from Sadel Studios. Now all these games have in one way or another appeared across the web this year in some form of popularity, and have provided a new way of theories, made people feel something or mesmerized with their talents, and the one that sticks out the most to me has to be Viewfinder, as it's such a unique and fantastic concept of using images and items to look through and then be suddenly projected right in front of them as to continue on the journey. It's so fun, unique, and really blew me away in how creative it is when playing and execution, and I think a lot of people should check out these games themselves and finding something new for you to enjoy. I think any indie game that's basically nominated tonight, I think honestly you should check them out, because people put a lot of time and effort into this game, and I think you should check them out. So my debut indie choice is going to Viewfinder.
Marge, my son, where is he? He's an Undertale.
Now, relating back to the last nominee post, this one will follow from the debut indie to the creation of studios and creators going on to make even more new titles in their own form and building the base of an indie games based on a more smaller budget. So these nominees for this category are as follows. We got Cocoon from Geometric Interactive, Dave the Diver from Mint Rocket, Dredge from Black Salt Games, Sea of Stars from Sabotage Studios, and Viewfinder from Sad Owl Studios. Now, one or two of these games have gotten themselves into both indie categories and have some strong chance together. I know one of the most popular in this group is with Dave the Diver, but I did hear some controversy with the studio as it's a billion-dollar company, making it that it could affect its chances of a win. Viewfinder I would choose for this again, but I think it's best for the win in debut indie, but it could snag both. The only other one on the list that has potential and from hearing great praise with Sea of Stars, an indie RPG game that could rival other big AAA games in its own accord. It seems like quite a challenge, but I think it may come down to those three in particular. So my indie choice, I'm just gonna give it to Sea of Stars, and then runner-ups I'm giving to Viewfinder or Dave the Diver. Now, some games may give you that sense of enjoyment, and then there's others that could provide so much deeper meanings to it all, from personal tales, experiences, and concepts told from a perspective that we can feel or relate to others. Now, this nominees for this section include A Space for the Unbound, Chance for Sinar, Goodbye Volcano High, Tchaya, Terra Nil, and Venba. Now, each of these games have their own approach to a game, from cultures, experiences we have experienced growing up, and much more. But the one that has quite the major impact that could make people think twice will be from the game of Terra Nil, where we are the antagonists, and the goal is to help tracking the major issue is to help stop and tackle the major issue of climate change. Some of these games can leave an impact that can make a difference over time. I know a lot of games in these impact sections over the years have made me feel a lot of things. So the impact choice of this one is going to Terra Nil.
Showtime.
Now, of course, with many big games for the past year, there are those games that have a narrative needing someone to perform as the characters to really get people invested in the character's journey, and these 6 performers have all provided something special to their roles that really make it stand out in their games with the nominations. So our nominees are Ben Starr as Clive Rosefield from Final Fantasy XVI, Cameron Monaghan as Cal Katis from Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba as Solomon Reed in Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Melanie Labarde as Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2, Neil Newborn as Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker or Spider-Man in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. All these performances have provided something unique and well established in their established games, and while I have seen the strong performance of Yuri in Spider-Man, Melanie in Alan Wake, and Zelda in Phantom Liberty, the one I've seen stand out above the rest to everyone is Newborn's performance as Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, who really made the NPC come alive and become quite a very popular character overall. So the performance choice for this I'm giving to Neil Newborn. Now you can have your visuals and your performers, but sometimes the use of some of the design from audio in the game for weapons, environments, vocal tones, and everything under the sun can make or break a game. And these nominees really brought that mass appeal of the audio design to great success. And these nominees include Alan Wake 2, the Dead Space remake, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, while some of them have the subtle pieces like the sound of web swinging or weapons and punching, the ones that have the most broad appeal to all would have to be though in the basis of the horror games that could really make or break the unsettling immersion. And while Dead Space helped to make the corridors of the spacecraft much more eerie, I think it's a toss between that as well as the infected Spanish town of RE4 or the dark place of Alan Wake 2 as the strongest contenders of the category. It will be hard to decide on which one is better, but the choice between the two of them, I'm going to give Alan Wake 2 just a slight edge over it, just give something, and maybe follow up his Resident Evil 4 remake. But it's not the only audio focus, as we of course got to talk about the other major aspect of it all, and that is in the form of the music for the games, and each of these nominees really helped capture the essence of their games and provide something to listen to while playing in those game worlds. So these include Alan Wake 2, composed by Pietri Alanko, Baldur's Gate 3, composed by Borislav Slavov, Final Fantasy XVI, coordinated by Masahiro Soken, Hi-Fi Rush, performed by Shushi Kobori, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, performed by the Nintendo Sound Team. Now, all of them have some fantastic music, and if I had to give my own personal choice, it would have to go to Tears of the Kingdom for some of the most peaceful, lifelike, and appealing tones of music as you explore the vast Hyrule, engage in combat, and all other things. The one on this list that has the mix original, but also the licensed songs that has stood out to many others is the form of Hi-Fi Rush, and has appealed to many that may not have played the game but have heard the music. The others all have some strong soundtracks and scores, but those two are the definite standouts for me personally. So the choice for the music choice is going to either Tears of the Kingdom or Hi-Fi Rush.
It's a fucking
fucking masterpiece!
Now, every game can look and feel the same, but then when it comes to the direction in its artistic approach, it can have its appeal and make the game much more inviting and appealing to the masses. And these nominees provided something new or appealing in the art direction. These include Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Liza P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and the Tears of the Kingdom. Now, all of them have a distinct aesthetic, from Alan Wake being a twisted dark reality of our own, Liza P mixing a gothic Victorian era world with a brand of some grim fairy tale aesthetic, Tears of the Kingdom returning to the aesthetic of Breath of the Wild while also refining it to give it a much more stronger glow, and Hi-Fi Rush having that colourful comic book aesthetic with a slight veil and vibe to Jet Set Radio. But the one to me that feels like they really went all in on the concept and the aspects of the art, that has to be Wonder itself, as it brought some new life and appeal to the Super Mario Bros. Series that has seen a bit of stale taste to many from the new series, as well as providing some new colourful, engaging environments on its own, and with the magic of the Wonder Flower that I feel it may help provide some creativity and wonder of the world's famous plumber. So the art direction of this choice is going to Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
What's the story in Alan Wake?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Now, on the aesthetic of adding all of those previous pieces of audio, art, and performances, some of them would combine to bring with them some of the most engaging approach of a narrative to come out of any form to keep the audience engaged from beginning to end. And these nominees have shown that, with these games including Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. All of them have provided something excellent in terms of narrative, when Cyberpunk has even changed some of the outcomes to the original game with their expansion. To me personally, it's a freeway tie, with Spider-Man having a very engaging narrative of saving the city of New York from the vast rogues gallery, Alan Wake for continuing the story after 13 long years, and Final Fantasy for connecting to every version of the series. All of them play out in some engaging ways that appeal to everyone. So now our choice is tossed between Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Final Fantasy 16. Now, like other projects in media, they always need direction to help it make complete sense in where the story goes or how the story plays out. And each of these nominees have something unique and fun to connect it all together from beginning to end. These games include Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, all of them have something different in their direction, and some will do a lot different to others. Mario Wonder would be the most straightforward of going from start to the end of the levels on a set path, but the unique turns of the Wonder Flower can change the output. Alan Wake may also have some of that, but I think it's a new unique approach to switching between Alan and Saga to see how the story from two perspectives that come together in the end. And while Spider-Man has that feeling of well controlling Peter and Miles at any time and exploring a city to their own accord, I feel it's the shy of the approach from Tears of the Kingdom that have so much variety of choice that you could chart your own path of choice in Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom, where it could be you can follow the main plot or go explore to your own heart's desire. I feel exciting and engaging to see it all, and I feel they tackled very strongly the approach in their direction with both of those games. So if a toss up on the direction choice, either Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the final one, the biggest award of the night, and is of course, the Game of the Year. These 6 games were chosen from its appeal from critics and audiences as being the very best over the last 12 months, and have set themselves the most have games of the year in many categories. So the nominees for this year are Alan Wake 2 from Remedy Entertainment, Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian Studios, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games, Resident Evil 4 Remake from Capcom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder from Nintendo, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom also from Nintendo. Now, all 6 of these games have some sense of being here, although the one that may see as being a bit of a debated choice is the RE4 remake, given it's a game released over 20 years ago. But I'll give it a pass, it does seem to have some new updated approach to the game, not seeing the original or updated ports besides that. Now, I have pondered on this topic for the last few days since the nominees were unveiled. It always comes down to 2 games, and I feel to win this award may have to be a fantasy setting, with it being either tied between Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, with both being the most highly anticipated games of the year, and also the case of Breath of the Wild winning the same title 6 years ago. But it could be a sudden surprise and another game wins, but we'll have to see on the night. But those 2 are my top choice for Game of the Year. So my Game of the Year choice is going between Baldur's Gate 3 or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And before I end this whole opinion piece, I felt I would give one more in the prediction of some of the trailers or announcements that come out from this event, so some seem likely and maybe 1 or 2 are hopeful thinking of happening, but I will go through each and give my own prediction as I can. So for ones I feel are likely for this event, the biggest one that I was initially going to say was GTA 6, but that's now being shown 2 days early. So the next one I feel that is most likely going to get confirmed is the upcoming Xbox release of Baldur's Gate 3. Now some would say the half the likelihood of getting shown would be maybe the first official trailer for probably maybe some DLC for Spider-Man 2 with like Daredevil, because it's been hinting at that. We might even see a trailer for Wolverine. And the last one I feel that seems likely revealed to be maybe a new trailer for the sequel to Death Stranding, as it's likely Mr. Hideo Kojima will appear in some capacity, as he has last year, and I feel logically he's probably been working away on Death Stranding 2. I've seen all these posts in the social media. You got Timothy Chalamet in there recently, so maybe he's in the game. Who knows? I'd also like to be surprised if we get a new release date announcement for Ubisoft's Skull and Bones, which I've been hearing about, and even DLC release for Elden Ring. But it's all I have to find out soon enough. There was some other trailers for stuff like Fallout and other things like that, but I think like recently I'm going to talk about more in Weird Mind that you can probably see anyway. But as for stretched speculation, one that I always hope for proper on-sequel to Alien Isolation. I remember a few years ago there was the leaked info about Alien Blackout at the 2018 event that turned out to be a FNAF clone with Alien mixed into it. As a case, many want a proper sequel, but because of one channel they gave it a poor score, and then it will constantly promote the game, seems like a bit of a mixed cons. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Another one I would hope gets some form of reveal as well would be the return of release window for Beyond Good and Evil 2, as it's been very quiet since about 2018, 2019, and I feel it deserves to make some form of comeback. I know the creative director passed away tragically early this year at the age of 40, so unless they have been working in the background, I have no idea. Now the last four I really doubt, and I'm stretching to see if it may be unveiled, but it could happen, is the announcement of a new Spyro game, similar to the likes of Crash 4, It's About Time, the conclusion of the Epic Mickey trilogy for a port of the first two to new consoles, maybe even just the Switch, a new Rayman game, either a proper sequel to Rayman Legends or a Rayman 4, and the last being either a reveal of the next Naughty Dog's new game, or even a confirmation The Last of Us 3 is in the works, or the release date for Factions. Now all these are just speculation, and we'll love to know what you think of all the unveiled in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts of what you think is going to get unveiled. Let's see what works out.
Yep, it's gamer time.
Now as I bring this piece to an end, and it's important to know that while many of these opinions of what I feel may win are my own opinion, it's important to remember that even if a game doesn't win the award, it's a great achievement to show that they made something truly fantastic, that they can get themselves to award nominations, and show that true love, care, and teamwork and time can prove anything can turn into a great success over time and should be an inspirational piece for everyone. Many focusing towards Game Mill because they keep making trash. They're looking at Avatar, Skull Island Rise of Kong, and a recent Walking Dead game. What happened there? So I'm sure we'll do a follow-up on this in the next Weird Mind Newsroom episode next week after the event, and I may do a live on the night as well if I'm not up at the crack of dawn the next day for work, which I don't believe I am. But I'm sure I will be tuning in to see all there is for the Game Awards this year. Now I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on all the Game Awards, and I hope you liked the little splash of variety to it. And let me know down below your thoughts on what will be revealed at the event, as well as your own predictions of winners and nominees in the comments below. And as always, I hope you all stay being wonderful people, because you all are wonderful people. Have a great day, every day, do many great things. And I shall see you all in the next piece. So, take care everybody, and goodbye.